Welcome to Y News, I am Christopher. June 7, the European Union is considering a mandatory ban on member states' use of equipment from companies considered to be security risks in 5G networks, including China's Huawei. It is reported that EU Internal Market Commissioner Thierry Breton recently informed officials in the telecommunications sector that only one-third of EU countries have implemented Huawei bans in key areas. Earlier, the EU also proposed to exclude high-risk suppliers from technology investments, which was unanimously agreed by member states in 2020 and ranged from certification requirements to supplier diversity. But the proposal did not become a ban. If member states, including Germany, continue to delay, the EU could impose mandatory bans on companies such as Huawei that are considered security risks, a source familiar with the matter said. Many European countries are now reassessing their reliance on China for critical telecommunications infrastructure. Portugal plans to ban Huawei equipment from the country's 5G network. Huawei 5G is actively involved in globalization and helping national operators build 5G networks. In the process, the United States has continued to interfere with Huawei's 5G development, joining other countries to ban Huawei 5G equipment. The purpose is very obvious, not for the so-called maintenance of national security, but to continue to dominate the 5G era, the position of the communications industry. In addition to the United States, the European Union suddenly acted to consider forcing member states to ban the use of Huawei equipment in 5G networks. Huawei may lose more than 250 billion, foreign media. Huawei fears to be in crisis. Huawei has a very deep layout in the European market. The past decades, Huawei's layout in the European market is mainly focused on mobile communications, including smartphones, 5G infrastructure, and other aspects. In the smartphone market, Huawei has become one of the top 3 vendors in the European market. In the 5G infrastructure field, Huawei has been committed to working with European operators and has built a large number of 5G networks in several European countries. Many European countries value the quality of Huawei's products and have established multifaceted cooperation with Huawei. However, when it comes to the development of 5G, European countries are frequently interfered by the United States. Originally, the United Kingdom is ready to start 5G cooperation with Huawei, but eventually joined the United States to restrict the camp. The UK announced its decision to ban Huawei 5G in 2020, and in the years since then, European countries such as Sweden, Italy, and Denmark have also made their choices one after another. If these are just discretionary decisions between countries, then the EU's attitude is different. According to the Financial Times, the EU is considering a mandatory ban on Huawei equipment in 5G networks in member states. The reason is the same as the United States: for national security. This is a cliched topic. As long as the Western countries have any action to ban Chinese companies' equipment are related to national security. But Huawei has never had a major cybersecurity incident with 5G and has stringent cybersecurity certifications from testing agencies in various countries. Huawei has the largest number of 5G patents in the world and is an important participant in the development of 5G standards. So if there are still security issues, then there is no security. In fact, Huawei has been actively investing in research and development to provide a variety of security measures for its 5G products, to ensure the security of its products and services. Among other things, Huawei 5G devices have integrated security chips that protect the devices from physical attacks and unauthorized access. Huawei 5G devices use several security protocols, including TLS, IPsec, and SRTP, to ensure the security of data transmission. Huawei provides a security firmware upgrade function that can fix security vulnerabilities and flaws in a timely manner. to ensure the security of devices and systems. All these measures provide security for Huawei's 5G security. Huawei's annual $100 billion level of investment in research and development is not in vain. Since the EU has the decision to consider banning Huawei 5G equipment, I am afraid that it will not stop there. If the EU introduces corresponding rules in the future, Huawei may lose more than 250 billion yuan. In Europe, Huawei has invested a lot of capital expenditure, some to build R&D centers, some to participate in network communication infrastructure construction. Once the 5G equipment cannot enter the European market, the result may not be what Huawei wants to see. Foreign media said, Huawei fear of falling into crisis. After all, Europe is the most important 5G deployment market for Huawei, is in addition to the Chinese market, the core of overseas competition region. As for the United States, there has long been no Huawei business deployment, so Huawei can only accelerate the European 5G network construction. Perhaps someone said, is not there still the African market? The US hand is no longer long, it is impossible to reach Africa, so that all African countries refuse to use Huawei equipment. In fact, Huawei did participate in the layout of the African 5G market, and Zambia, Morocco and other African countries to carry out the construction of 5G networks. It's just that Africa's communications infrastructure is not perfect, and market demand is far less important than in Europe. If we lose the European market, even if we take orders from most African countries, we can't turn the tide. Of course, things have not developed to the final step. The EU has not yet made a final decision on whether to ban Huawei equipment. Before Huawei, there is room for maneuvering. It can continue to participate in the layout of the European market, show sincerity in cooperation, and establish a local team and partner network to better meet the needs of European customers. It can also strengthen cooperation with European countries, enterprises and academia to promote digitalization and intelligence, and enhance cybersecurity and data protection. In addition, Huawei is able to leverage its technological strengths to dig deeper into the market potential and extend 5G technology to various industries while working with operators. For example, ports, transportation, coal, automobiles, and other fields to empower the industry. All roads lead to Rome, and there is more than one way to develop 5G. Western countries cannot stop Huawei's 5G rise. It is believed that with Huawei's efforts, 5G globalization will be unstoppable.